Hi, I'm Strength and Conditioning Specialist Mike Mejia, and welcome to the second in our three-part series on proper warm-ups for young athletes. This time around, we're going to be looking at that 10 to 13 or 14-year-old age range. And as you'll see, things are going to differ significantly here from what we did with the 6 to 9-year-olds. At this age, what we want to start doing is begin to incorporate a more structured approach to athletic preparation, as well as start sprinkling in some bodyweight strength exercises into the actual warm-up routine. We're doing this because, again, this is a group that we want to stay away from static stretching with. And instead, we want to use dynamic flexibility and muscle activation drills to get them working through a full range of motion and get their bodies prepared and ready to play. So let's take a look at those drills right now.
All right, so we've got Brianna all ready and set to help us out. And our first drill in the 10 to 13-year-old warm-up is going to be something called seal jacks. Now these are just like jumping jacks, except we're going to position the arms differently, which is going to help to dynamically stretch out the chest and the shoulders. Start with your hands and feet together in front of your body. And then just like a jumping jack, we're going to open up and bring the arms back. And remember to land soft. Go ahead, Brianna, give me a few of those. Now what she's doing here, nice soft landings, and she's making sure to bring those arms back a little further each time, stretching out the front of the chest and the shoulders. You can see the way the knees bend, the landings are soft, and the knees are pointed right over the toes. And those are seal jacks, and you'll want to do about 12 to 15 of those. All right, our next drill is called the prisoner squat, and these are going to warm up the hips. Brianna's going to begin with her feet a little wider than shoulders width apart, hands behind the head. And now what we want to remember here is elbows back, chest up, and we want to drive those hips back. Go ahead, Brianna. She's going to push the hips back as she squats down and drives back up. Good job. A little lower. Really push those hips back and push into the ground. Go ahead, Brianna. A little bit quicker than that. Drive the hips down, standing back up and through. That's 3. Good form on these. Notice the way she drives the hips back. The knees stay over the toes. Great job. Let's also turn to the side, Brianna, so we can show them a profile view. Again, you want those elbows back out of sight. Get those elbows back, Bri, and drive those hips back. Look at the way she pushes those hips back behind her body. Excellent. And as you get a little bit stronger, a little bit more, build a little more mobility, you'll be able to get down a little lower. You don't want to go any lower than parallel here. And those are prisoner squats, and you're going to do about 10 to 12 of those. Next up, we've got helicopters. Now with these, Brianna's got her feet shoulders width apart. She's going to keep her hips still, and she's going to rotate. Here we're getting the muscles around the spinal column all warmed up and ready. Warming up all those rotational muscles. Nice, easy swing with those arms. Knees soft, chest up high. And those are helicopters, and you're going to want to do about 10 to 12 of those as well. All right, next we're down on the ground for a drill called lying bridges. And with these, we're firing up the glutes and the hamstrings, the powerful muscles on the back of the thighs. Go ahead, Bri, get started. She's going to push her feet into the ground and lift her hips up into the air. She's keeping her core braced tightly so she doesn't overarch her lower back. And we're really activating those glutes and hamstrings here, and also getting a nice dynamic stretch in the hip flexors and the quads, the muscles that run along the top and front of the thighs. Let's keep that core nice and tight, Bri, so that belly button doesn't go poking up into the air. And those are lying bridges, and you're going to want to do about 10 to 12 reps there. Next, we've got a drill called bird dogs. This is going to help get all the muscles in the core fired up. Once again, some glutes and hamstrings as well. Now, as you see, Brianna's starting in a nice flat back posture with her shoulders directly over her wrists and her hips directly over her knees. From there, in one coordinated movement, she's going to extend one arm and the opposite leg out at the same time, and then come back and in, holding for a split second. Go ahead, Bri, go through a few reps there. Now, what we're striving to do here is keep the core and the lower back area as still as possible. We want the arm and the leg moving, but we don't want to go into a lot of arching in the lower back. So what I'll usually tell my athletes is to pretend they're balancing a glass of water right on their tailbone and try not to spill it. She's doing an excellent job here, getting a little muscle activation in the back of the thighs and the upper back while getting the core fired up. And those are bird dogs, and once again, alternating, we're going to go for about 10 to 12 reps. All right, so we're back up on our feet now for a drill called a forward lunge with an overhead reach. As you can see here, Brianna's going to lunge forward with her right leg, and both arms are going to go up overhead to the right. Good job. And she's going to alternate that now to the left. What she's getting here, great form, is a big stretch on the muscles of the back leg, the hips, hip flexors rather, and the quads. Muscles run along the front of the thigh. You notice she doesn't have to go into too deep a lunge here. Great job. And her arms are going, whichever leg is forward, that's the way she's leaning, and that's the side that her arms are going towards. Big lunge right. One more time with the left leg, and arms come over to the left. And that's the forward lunge walk with the lean overhead reach, and you'll want to do those for about anywhere between 10 and 15 yards. All right, so for our next drill, Bri's down in a push-up position, only I'm going to have her walk her hands a little further out in front of her head so we really get the core activated, and this one's called an inchworm. Brianna's going to keep her upper body steady as she walks her feet up towards her hands, Notice how she keeps the knees straight and presses the heels down towards the ground. And once you reach your highest point, walk the arms out nice and slow. Good job, Bree. Continue. So what we're getting here is a huge stretch, huge dynamic stretch in the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, and even the lower back. And we're also firing up that upper body and core, getting it ready for work as well. Let's walk that up, Brianna. On this next one, I want to see you walk the arms out a little further. Keep going, lower those hips. And we'll go up one more time. It's a really tough drill, and these are called inchworms, and you'll want to do anywhere between 6 and 8 repetitions of this one. Our next drill is called a low skip, and it's really going to get you fired up and ready for running. Now with these, Brianna's going to begin skipping, but as you'll see, it's not a really high skip. She's driving those elbows back, driving the foot up quickly off the ground, and coming back down. Want a little bit of a freeze in between each one. Great job. And that's the low skip, and you'll want to do those for about 10 to 15 yards. All right, our last drill is going to warm up that all-important groin area, and these are side shuffles. Bree's in a ready athletic position, hips back, knees soft, and she's going to begin shuffling to her right. Notice the way she does not allow her feet to come together. Good position. She decelerates, comes back the other way. Make sure not to turn those toes out to the side, Brianna. Knees and toes pointed straight ahead, and she's really firing up the groin here. Keep those hips down. Good job. About 5 to 7 strides each way. And you want to do this back and forth, and these are called side shuffles.
So there you have some effective warm-up strategies for that 10 to 13 or 14-year-old age group. Now you can always feel free to add in things like butt kickers, high knees, and other types of form running drills. But you want to make sure that you include drills of this type as well, because as I said, what they're going to do is they're going to raise body temperature, increase blood flow to the muscles, and most importantly, incorporate a strength aspect and get these kids moving through a full range of motion. Be on the lookout for my next video and the final one in this series on that 15 to 18-year-old range. I'll see you next time right here on the Long Island Junior Soccer League website.